All right, that brings us to News or Snooze, presented by Christopher William Jewelers. Bennett will give me 3 quotes. I'll say if they're newsworthy or snoozeworthy. You ready?
Yeah, I thought this one was funny. This was Xavier Brown talking about his first career start. He said that his veteran teammates, here's his quote, they kind of realized I was going to be nervous. I couldn't sleep last night. Thoughts on Xavier Brown? I know he's always talking about, like, hey, anything I can do for the team, I'll do. But a start still means a little bit more.
Yeah, that was cool. Newsworthy. Good for him to break into that starting lineup. Michael Green III's his recent slump and essentially getting benched at the end of the ULM game on Thursday, or I guess not benched, but sat down. And Xavier Brown took advantage of that time. He took advantage of it against App State as well. And he's really, really evolved since conference play has started. I remember non-conference play, I'll be straight up. Xavier Brown would touch the ball and I'd be like, get out of his hands. Pass it. Why is he touching the ball? Because there were points where he would literally touch it. The offense, it was a black hole. It was where the offense would go to die, and he'd put up a contested 3, an ill-advised shot. But since conference play has started, his defensive play has taken a huge step forward. He was always like a good, like, Energizer Bunny type of player, but now he's like a very good lockdown defender with quick hands who can get steals and force turnovers, and he's making the right plays, and he's shooting it really well from 3. So I love his growth. I think that is a newsworthy quote because I think he's going to be a long-time starter for JMU.
And quite coachable. I think it was Corey Spector in one of the recent games this last week. Took a couple first half threes that I think the coaches didn't like. And Spector mentioned the coaches in the second half, told him to go in the paint. Had a couple looks he probably could have pulled from 3, did not, and then drove into the lane. So he clearly listens to what he's being told, which is a big positive for a young player.
I believe his dad is a coach too in the
Yes.
757 area.
Yeah. So he's been coached before. He seems like a great player that I think fans are going to love, and hopefully he can stay around for a long time.
Yeah.
All right, next coach from Sean O'Regan, the women's basketball.
Next coach.
Did I say coach? That's tough. What is next coach? But also next quote. Sean O'Regan, Jamie women's basketball head coach or head quote. He said that Peyton McDaniel has an aura of I'm the best player on the floor type of mentality, and it's fun to watch.
Newsworthy. I'll also say Peyton McDaniel must have read my texts where I was like, I don't like Peyton McDaniel. I feel like she's in a slump because ever since then, she has just like erupted to be one of the best players in the Sun Belt the last 5 games.
She didn't, like, early in the year look like she had the same level of confidence that she had, like, last year either. So for him to say that she's starting to be like, I'm the best scorer here is huge.
I think it's Bristow because Peyton McDaniel is a deadly catch and shoot player, but she can't really, and this isn't a knock, it's just not her game. She doesn't take it off the dribble and drive to the paint. She's a spot up shooter who is electric at doing that. And when Bristow wasn't on the floor, I don't know if there was necessarily a facilitator that could really help her get those catch and shoot opportunities like Kiki was a year ago. But now that Bristow is on the field, on the court, I think it changes a lot of things. And I think Peyton McDaniel can then step into that role and become the best player on the court.
Yeah, if you can give her a little separation for a catch and shoot, she's one of the better shooters, if not the best in the conference. All right, last quote. We've been talking about Sean O'Regan and sort of what he's been going through here. Obviously, some tough stuff. There are a lot of people that maybe back in the day were hating on him, so I love this one. You think about the dark times in 2021, a lot of people calling for his head. A lot of people in this room calling for his head. I thought that was a big time quote. It was from Jared Goff.
Is that Jared Goff? Yeah, I knew it.
Dan Campbell, but you could also use it. Anyone talking about Jack and Sean O'Regan, who's really flipped the script.
Yeah, he's made me a believer. I apologize.
What about Dan Campbell?
I was never an anti-Dan Campbell. You were an anti-Dan Campbell guy.
Never an anti-Dan Campbell guy.
There was I could go and find the text where you were like, I'm not sure about this guy.
Earlier this year, when I realized the Lions were going to be good, I went back and I deleted a previous Dan Campbell tweet that I had.
Did you really?
It was last Thanksgiving. He mismanaged the clock so badly, and I was so mad. I was like, this guy has no idea what he's doing. He's in over his head. He's capped their ceiling. And then when I looked at their roster and how they drafted and how they were playing, I was like, I got to get this off the internet. This guy's a dog. And later me was right.
Hindsight is, in fact, 2020.
That's right.
Live on the air. Never mind. I thought Harry O'Kelly was responding to you saying Ethan Racky makes that field goal, and he responded no, but he was responding to someone else asking another question.
Do you think Racky makes that in Buffalo, whatever it was, 43, 44 yards?
I think he has more success than a former JMU alumni kicker for the Buffalo Bills.
I think Racky puts it in, and he's just humble about it. Goes back to the bench and doesn't even celebrate.
I think Camden Wise also hits that.
Camden Wise hits that. I think Harry O'Kelly in the right situation hits that.
I don't know about that one.